to Stock Talk. This is your host, Scott. I've been out of pocket for a little while. Actually went out of the country, went to Israel. Had a great trip there with the wife, and we had a really good time. Um, Glad to be back. It was kind of strange watching my stocks in the afternoon when I got home from the tour, but it was pretty neat to be able to do that at night. There's about an 8 hours difference between the two, U.S. and Israel. But it was a good time. Glad to be back. Just now getting caught up with my sleep and trying to get back on track. But uh, been a little rough week for Novavax this week. Uh, we did have a good March as far as our pocketing, our trading. So that was good to see. It's the first green month we've had this year. As far as this month goes, we're having a rough start to it. Been a little bit pulled back in the markets. And of course, Novavax followed that as well, and it's really had a tough week this week. Um, we did have some Novavax before we left, and when I got back, I bought some earlier this week, which I'd held out till yesterday, but we got a little bit earlier. So we are in pretty good on Novavax again, and so we're going to try to make a trade on that. I think overall right now we're in about around 75 or so. So it's down to about 60. So we'll have to hope we have a good week in the next few weeks. Hopefully before the end of the month we can cash out again and make a little pocket money for the month. That's the goal. If not, we'll just hold it until something comes along. So we're going to take a look at Novavax and the rest of the portfolio. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, so here's the portfolio. As you can see here, we've got Moderna on the top. We're not holding any Moderna. We just keep that out there to keep an eye on Novavax, kind of compare the two. And today, they were actually the only green ones we had. They started out pretty strong this morning. Novavax had a little news. So let's go ahead and just go to Novavax, take a look at that. You can see here, started out pretty good, got all the way up to high today was 63.55. Notice the volume though, we're still running low on the volume, and until we get some volume on this, we're not going to see a big run on it for sure. But you take a look at this 5-day chart, you can see it is a bad chart. We've gone down from about 76 all the way down to 60.63. So not where we wanted to go. We did buy, I think I bought somewhere on Wednesday. Let's see, probably Wednesday sometime. But we're in at about 75 right now. So we'll just hang in there and see if we can get back up to that level. Take a look at the 1 month chart here. You can see this is a new low for everything. You can go out 6 months, a year, you name it. This is going to be the low that we're treading water on right now. So this is not a good place to be. And the main issue is still no news on the FDA. But it did have some news today. Novavax and Serum Institute of India receive emergency use authorization of Novavax COVID-19 vaccine in Thailand. So that's just one more approval, one more country, and but the main one right now is still dragging its feet. So we're gonna suffer until we get the FDA or we get to that next earnings call, and we've actually got some good revenues coming in. So that's kind of where we're at. Let's take a look at that 5-day and let's see if we can pull that chart up and see what that looks like for the 5-day in comparison to the others. And you can see we've kind of tracked with Moderna until this week, looks like. So let's go to the 5-day here. Let's see, here it is. So we fell off from pretty much Moderna on this date here, which was 4/5, and we started falling off, and then we're still a good ways down from Moderna. Moderna being the purple one. The red one is the NASDAQ, Yeah, you can see it did fall, so we're tracking the market pretty much as well. Uh, as far as the trend goes, of course, we are falling a lot faster than the market does. That's bad news. So anyway, you can see PF Pfizer has had a pretty decent gain for the 5 days. So we just need to get on the right track here, but we are just definitely suffering, and this is not a good time for Novavax. The odd thing about this Novavax is right now, this company is in better shape than it's been since I've been trading it. So, and I've been trading it for probably 4 or 5 years now. We've got a product out there. We're selling this product. We've got approvals in all kinds of countries. We've got manufacturing set up, and this is all recently. And it really makes no sense for the stock to be down where it is. But it will be fine if it sells the vaccines like it should. Okay, so that's the key, really. We can get all this news that you want. I'm not sure that the FDA news is going to do a whole lot. Maybe it's going to give it a little ground to stand on at least. But I'm not sure that news. I mean, you might get a good pop out of it for the day, but I'm not sure that's going to set it off. It's going to be revenues, and that's going to have to come on these earnings calls. So we're going to be like a real company now, and we've got to make some earnings. And so that's when you're in this speculative type thing where you're generating these vaccines and you're doing these tests, and the good news on the test will make your stock pop and things like that. But it all boils down to growing up and being a big boy. Okay, uh, is maturing as a company, and we're doing that. The stock is paying the price right now for all that over exuberance that we saw in the last couple of years. But we took advantage of that, and that's why we don't buy stuff and watch it go up, you know, 20 and 30% and not sell. We and 100% and 200% and not sell. We traded that stock for the last 4 or 5 years and made money. And so, of course, right now this year is a whole different story. And so we've got to just wait for the right time. It's just have patience, and they got to deliver. And so it's up to Novavax now as a company to deliver, and that's what we're waiting on. All right, so that's about all I can say about that right now. It's painful to watch and no fun to watch. Last year was a lot more fun. Year before was a lot more fun, but that's just the stock market. As Warren Buffett always says, he says, stock market is where impatient people give patient people their money. So we're going to be one of those patient people, and hopefully somebody gives us some money. We'll see. All right, CLSD. It's had a pretty decent run, not this week, but this month, I believe. Let's take a look at that month chart. Yeah, you can see it's done pretty good this month. We're still down on that one a good ways, but we'll hold it. It's another biomedical, so we'll just hang on to it. Um, we don't have a large stake in that. Bitcoin did pull back a little bit this week, but while I was gone, it was doing pretty good. Matter of fact, I sold some of my Ethereum before I left, and it kept running a little bit, but that's okay. We needed that for the vacation trip and the taxes that are coming up. So, um, but you can see here in the month that Bitcoin was having a pretty good run there, and it's pulled back in the last week or so. But this one's, I just looking at it for the last year, it wasn't too bad. Let's take a look at that year chart. Uh, yeah, that looks pretty bad, but I mean, it was what I've been holding. It looks like it'd been about 6% down for the year that I'm holding. Maybe that's year to date, but yeah, maybe it was year to date. But that's not too bad considering the way the rest of the market's done. But Bitcoin is just a different investment. It's a different way to put your money somewhere else, and that's why we've got it in different places. It's diversity. HUT, the same thing. HUT is a tied to Bitcoin. It's gonna track Bitcoin. Let's take a look at that. 5-day charts had a rough week, but the month has also been down. So that's got me a little concerned on HUT because it should be tracking Bitcoin. Bitcoin, it did for a while here. It did get up a little bit from here, but then it's already pulled back pretty much back down to where it was at. So we need that one. But anytime Bitcoin moves, this one's going to move with it to some degree. And but it's kind of in the dirt right now. We don't have a ton of that. We got a little bit of it, but because you can't really buy Bitcoin in these IRAs that I have. I buy Bitcoin using Coinbase, but I want some exposure to Bitcoin in my IRA, so that's why I buy HUT. NVTA has just been pretty much a disappointment all the way around. Let's just take a look at the month chart. It had gotten down to here. It did have a little bit of a run, but it's pulled back. So it's not doing anything. All these growth type stocks, they're not going to do anything while this market's doing what it's doing. Same here with Tilray. Tilray did have some positive parts of the month here. You can see that, but it's already pulled back. Pretty much the same old story. When the market turned, my stocks turned, but when the market cooled back off, the stocks cooled back off. So we've got the right stocks if the market would act right. And so you can see the same thing here. Nikola. Now Nikola's actually done some production of some of their trucks, so that's good to hear. But yeah, it's all market. It's all market, and there's not much you can do about it if you're invested in the market. Of course, if you're holding oil stocks and things like that right now, you would be doing pretty good, feeling pretty good. But is it too late to get in them? I don't know. I don't know how high this stuff's going to go. The oil has pulled back a little bit, and but the oil stocks like MPC, even MRO's done well. Some of the stocks that I've held in the past, they've done pretty good, and wished I still had them right now. That would help the portfolio. But that's what's been doing good, the energy stocks, and they may continue to do that as long as the economy is doing what it's doing. But we'll see how it goes. Of course, these interest rate hikes are always going to be on the mind of everybody going forward. At least we've broken the ice on that. That's probably going to help things settle a little bit. The markets, it had a little run there. It pulled back, and now it's just kind of, it had a rough few days this week, but today it settled down a little bit, and nothing major bad. Yesterday it was down pretty good, and it came back towards the end of the day. So anyway, but we're just riding this market out. That's all I can do in the current situation. Try to make some decent trades and pocket money during the month. But sometimes when the market's doing what it's doing, like with NVAX, you get trapped in those trades, and at that point you just got to hold, and hopefully you get back over back over to your cost price of the share that you just bought. So it's a tricky thing, but main thing is to keep the cash on the sideline. That, especially in my case, being retired, I've got to have a certain amount of cash on the side to to live off of, and I don't have to sit here and worry about selling things for a loss. And that's what I do. That's what I've got going on as well. I keep that cash. We're sitting pretty good at a cash level now. So that is how you have patience, because you're not in a bind. So that's the main thing. Keep you some cash. Always keep you some cash. If you need cash to live off of. Now, if you're a young person and you are investing, these kind of markets, these down markets, should excite you, because you are buying stocks at a cheaper price than you could have bought them for 2 months ago. So your portfolio may be going down if you've got an IRA or something like that, or 401k, but if you're contributing to that portfolio or that 401k, you're buying cheaper shares now than you were buying 2 months ago, and that's always a good thing. And those things will go back up, and so it's good to have these pullbacks. And as long as you continually invest on a regular basis, you're cost averaging your portfolio, and that's a good thing. And that's what you do when you're a young person, and you don't worry about these ups and downs in the markets. Matter of fact, the downs are a plus thing because you're buying more more for less. All right. So, but if you're in my case and you're retired and you've got a lump sum of money that you're playing with, uh, that and you're not investing in it anymore because you're retired, okay? So that's a different story. And so you got that's why you got to have that cash on the side, because when these things go up and down, you don't want to worry about it because you got enough money to live off of. And of course, you hopefully you can get Social Security and things like that. But all right, well, we're just going to ride it out. Have a great week. It's good to be back. We'll try to get on here again next week. We're going to be kind of busy uh, doing some things with the trip. I'm actually pulling together some videos from pictures that I made for some things outside of here. So um, I'll be busy doing some of that. So we'll try to get in here maybe at least once a week in the week to come. And then anything exciting happens, we'll try to get on here for that. All right, but look for a video at least by Friday every week, and we'll talk to you later. All right, thanks.